Hello and welcome to Dawn of Geospatial World. Today we will discuss about remote sensing. So let's start our journey to know about remote sensing. Now you will be thinking, what is remote sensing? Why nowadays everyone is talking about remote sensing? How we collect information by remote sensing? In next few minutes, you will get a brief knowledge about it. Watch this animation carefully. You will have to answer a question at the last of this video. Remote sensing. The term is a combination of remote and sensing. Remote means something which is not in contact with any object, which is away from the target object. And sensing means getting some information about the target object. This could be a photo, video, audio, temperature, or anything. What is the definition of remote sensing? According to United States Geological Survey, remote sensing is the process of detecting and monitoring the physical characteristics of an area by measuring its reflected and emitted radiation at a distance. Remote sensing is not only talk about satellites. There are other techniques to get information remotely. Process of remote sensing. Pictorial remote sensing can only possible in presence of light. When light falls on any object, it absorbs some amount of energy and reflected back the remaining energy, which is captured by sensors. Various sensors can detect various wavelengths of light. Electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic radiation or EMR is a combination of electric field, magnetic field and energy. These fields are perpendicular to each other. What is wavelength? Wavelength is the distance between two highest points of wave. What is frequency? Frequency is the number of oscillations per second. The relation between wavelength and frequency can be described as this formula. Shorter the wavelength, higher the frequency and energy, and when wavelength gets larger, frequency and energy go lower. Electromagnetic spectrum. Electromagnetic spectrum can be divided into seven types of rays: gamma ray, X-ray, ultraviolet ray, visible ray, infrared ray, microwave ray, and radio wave. All rays have different wavelength and frequency. Except visible region, all other rays cannot be captured by human eye. Visible ray can further divided into five main groups: violet, blue, green, yellow, and red. These groups have different frequency and wavelength. This region of EMR can be detected by human eye. Components of remote sensing. Remote sensing has three components: platform, sensor, and orbit. What is platform? Platform is the place that holds or carries the sensor. There are three types of platforms: ground based, airborne, and spaceborne. What is sensor? Sensor is the tool which captures the reflected energy. Sensor is mainly categorized into active and passive sensors. Active sensors are those sensors which are carrying their own illumination source. Passive sensors are those sensors which does not carry any illumination source and dependent on sun. By the characteristics of wavelength, sensors are divided into three types. Here we will discuss about them one by one. Optic sensor. Optic sensor is a passive sensor which captures the visible region of light and some portion of near infrared and mid infrared. Depending on spectral bands, optic sensor is three types. Panchromatic sensor. This is a single channel covering visible region with infrared region also. This sensor produces black and white images. Multispectral sensor. This sensor can detect blue, green, red, near infrared and shorter infrared region of electromagnetic radiation. There are two types of scanners in multispectral sensor, whisk broom and push broom. Hyperspectral sensor. This sensor collects information in a narrow and large number of spectral bands, almost above 200 bands. Different types of scanners. Whisk broom scanner. This is an across-track scanner. This sensor collects data perpendicularly with the path of satellite. Push broom scanner. This is an along-track scanner. This sensor collects data along the path of satellite. Microwave sensor. Microwave is a high frequency and low wavelength region in electromagnetic spectrum. This radiation can penetrate cloud, precipitation, haze, and atmospheric disturbance. That's why this sensor can work in all weather conditions and all day. Microwave sensor is two types, active and passive. Active microwave sensor is two types, imaging and non-imaging. Imaging microwave sensor emits long microwave near to radio wave known as radar and laser light known as lidar. Non-imaging microwave is mainly microwave radiometers, microwave altimeters, and others. Passive microwave sensors are capture the microwave radiation of 5 to 100 GHz, which are reflected sunlight from the target object. Thermal sensor. Thermal sensor can measure the thermal energy based on infrared radiation. It is a passive sensor. Hot objects are appearing in light tone and cool objects are in darker tone. Black body. It is a surface which absorbs all the radiant of light or energy. Emissivity. Emissivity is defined as the ratio of energy emitted from a material surface to that emitted from a black body. For perfect reflector, its value is 0, and for perfect emitter, its value is 1. Resolution in remote sensing. The level of detail that an image may include is referred to as resolution. There are four types of resolution are present in remote sensing. Spatial resolution. Spatial resolution is the size of the smallest feature that can be detected by a sensor or displayed in an image. Higher spatial resolution means a clear image. These represent the detailing of image and location. Spectral resolution. Spectral resolution means how many spectral bands are present in an image. It controls the color of the image. Temporal resolution. Temporal resolution is defined as the amount of time needed to revisit and acquire data for the exact same location. It represents the time duration of capturing images. Radiometric resolution. The radiometric resolution of a sensor is the ability to discriminate very slight differences in reflected energy. It controls the color depth of an image. Different orbits in remote sensing. The term orbit refers to a satellite's movement. It varies on altitude, orientation, and rotation of Earth. There are three types of orbits are present. Geostationary orbit. Geostationary orbit, also known as geosynchronous equatorial orbit or GEO, it travels in the same direction of Earth's rotation at 36,000 km altitude. Sun synchronous orbit, also known as heliocentrous orbit or HSO, it hovers pole to pole and collects image at one point every day at a same time. Polar orbit, it rotates from pole to pole and covers the whole planet. There are the animations for orbit. Applications of remote sensing. The applications of remote sensing are in every work. There are some fields and examples of them. Agriculture. By remote sensing, we can detect soil moisture, soil type of any location. The global food supply is being monitored with satellite imagery and the normalized difference vegetation index or NDVI. We can check plant health profile content from satellite images. Atmospheric monitoring. From satellite images, we can check atmospheric temperature, air pressure, precipitation, and other atmospheric conditions. Archaeology. From different satellite sensors and wavelengths, archaeologists can detect ancient river tracks, archaeological sites, and many more. Cryosphere studies. Remote sensing can help us to study the cryosphere. It helps to check the depth of ice, movement of glaciers, snow melting. Disaster monitoring. Like atmospheric monitoring, we can monitor natural disasters like flood, landslide, tsunami, cyclone, earthquake, and their impacts. Ecology. Remote sensing can help us check changes in ecology. Elevation. By LIDAR and radar remote sensing techniques, we can check the elevation of Earth's surface and make 3D maps. Forestry. With remote sensing, we can monitor different forests, protect them from forest fire or any other diseases. Geology. Microwave radiation can penetrate soil and rock in a few depth. By this radiation, geologists can know about any area's geology and petrology. Hydrology. Hydrologists can detect different watersheds from the elevation data. Also, remote sensing can predict groundwater potential zones. It also helps to protect wetlands. Land use and land cover. In the applications of remote sensing, land use and land cover change detection is a major application. With the help of remote sensing, an analyst can check the land use and land cover change from the past to present and predict the future. Map services. From satellite images and the help of GIS, we can produce different thematic maps for different works. Military. For military, there are some different communication and surveillance satellites. Mining. By hyperspectral remote sensing, mineral deposits could be spotted. Navigation. With the help of GPS, we can pinpoint our location on map. Remote sensing can provide us these maps for clear understanding. Ocean studies. Satellites can observe the flow and ocean currents, detect oil spills, observe environmental changes in ocean, track sediment transportation. By remote sensing, we can map ocean floor. You have a question to answer. Which type of orbit was shown at the beginning of this lecture? Comment down below.